Okay, welcome everybody. Let's start our study today. It's Genesis today, and we start with a prayer. Lindalva, please.
Let's go. So let's once again, as we prepare ourselves to start another meeting, and as we know we are never alone, we always have our spiritual friends who also come to study with us. So let's link our thoughts, trying to raise our thoughts, linking in with our benefactors, our spiritual friends who come to help us during this meeting, and ask our Master Jesus to be with us, with the certainty that when He asked, He told us that when two or three gathered in His name, there He would be. He is with us because we are gathered in Your name, Lord, trying to learn more about the message that You brought, that has been brought back by our friend and brother Allan Kardec, exemplifying further the examples you have left us over 2000 years ago. And so we ask you for your blessings during this meeting, for inspiration to understand the message today, the study, asking you to bless all of us. We're present in your name, the places where we are gathering together, and asking you, Lord, for your protection too. Hoping that during this study we'll make the most of it, connecting with the good energies, absorbing good fluids in this peaceful ambience that has been created for us even before we got here. And we ask you, Lord, to be present with us all the way through and beyond this meeting today. So be it. Amen. So last week we are finished. We studied number 2, Andre, of chapter 1. Today we're going to start on the item 3.
Let me try to find out.
Yeah.
The ascension characteristics.
Yes. Shall I start reading?
Yep, please.
Um, the essential characteristic of any revelation must be the truth. To reveal a secret is to make known a fact. If the thing is false, it is not a fact at all, and consequently there is no revelation. Every revelation that is belied by the fact is not revelation at all, even though it may be attributed to God, who can neither lie nor be mistaken. It cannot have emanated from God, hence it must be considered as a product of human conception. Shall I carry on or do I stop here?
Yeah, we can make some comments on this paragraph. So I think we need to recap last week. The
Mm.
question was about the revelation
Yeah.
and why the doctrine is considered revelation and why it's considered also science. Yeah. So, and at that time, Kardec was just explaining that everything that come out with something new, it's considered a revelation, which is something that nobody knows and nobody thought about. And he compared the doctrine with the astronomy and also geology and also chemistry, physiology. He said all those signs were revelation one day because the people had no idea what happens. For example, in astronomy, how the planets behaves, and geology, how the Earth was formed, and physiology. It's the most important for us because in the old days uh, we didn't even know the bacteria or how the disease uh, happened. So all those signs one day was a revelation and came out with something new. It's that's why the spiritism is considered a revelation because brought something really new. And other things, the most important is the any science gave the last word. So all the science they gave the first word and start the process of discovery, as the Spiritism did with Kardec. So Kardec launched the basis of the Spiritism with the books, but he never told us the last word. Not even the Spirit says this is the last word about the Spiritism and everything that's going to happen. But they launched the basis, which all the structure is built upon. So, and continue today. This paragraph, the essential characteristics of any revelation must be the truth. So it's worthless to someone that came with something, some news or let's say fake news, which is not based on truth. It's based on lie or just let's say vain ideas or suppositions or something like that. It's not the truth. It's not based on what happened truly, and he's gonna explain later in the next paragraph about that. And they say the fact is it's not revelation. They say every revelation that's believed by the fact is not a revelation at all, even though it may be attributed to God, who can neither lie nor be mistaken. It cannot have emanated from God. Hence, it must be considered as a product of a human conception. So Kardec's always calling the attention to the fact that the human imagination can generate a numbers of facts that may be considered revelation or maybe might be considered uh, the truth. But I know Kardec is going to explain later, but we can anticipate this idea. It's when the truth can be proved at any time. It could be proved before, after, and will be able to be proved in the future. But the other conceptions, that's not true, cannot prove it at any time. So they cannot be sustainable. So yeah, that's it.
And there is a lot of research in our DNA. And do you think that it's possible that some people that say that they are remembering previous life, this memory is just something that are like record in their DNA, and they just assess it's not really a memory from the previous life? Because I read a research saying that there's a lot of people saying, I remember that something, or you were born with a skill that is not expecting, or, well, there is a lot of examples. Do you believe that it could be possible that it is just a simple record in our DNA that we're still not aware?
Yeah, there are a lot of theory about the how people can remember the. But yeah, some of them says there is a place where all the memories are loaded, and if you have the some ability to go there and catch up one of these memories, and then you're gonna be this person or this character. This is an old one. That one was you know Sigmund Freud used to defend this idea that there is a collective unconscious where you can find an idea or something or remembrance or something that you can just incorporate as yours, and you can say this is my past life. And also, it's for me, this is it's a brand new idea about the DNA. I've never heard about that, but it's the same line of the collective inconscience, which is the pantheism. The pantheism is the old faith that we live, everybody lives individuality in the earth, and when we die, everybody is going to the same place and make part of a mass of ideas and stuffs like that, and everybody's going to be able to go to the cloud and get one information and incorporate as this person. But the problem is the individuality of each information it's so deep and so let's say different between one to the other that it's impossible to happen. And the research, when they try to research about the past life, they find that person and all the environment surrounding this person. For example, if I remember my past life, I can remember, for example, who was my father and my mother, and also my brothers, and how did I die, and stuff like that. We disconnected to many other points that's impossible to catch up just one and say I am this person. Of course, there are some people that are able to fake one character and try to be someone that they are not. But if you go deeper and deeper in this person, they are not connected to nothing, just a imaginary. They cannot connect to the facts. For example, just to summarize what I'm saying, a boy that they said he remembered the last incarnation, and in the last incarnation he was a woman, a black woman, and he gave all the details about that. So the address, the people of relationship, and how she died, and it's something that everybody could prove. They went there and they saw the person, and there are pictures and relationship. Some of them, those people were alive and still alive, and so it's really proof. Another thing is very important to notice at the is the our capacity. The human being is capable to create characters. Just to make an example, Fernando Pessoa used to create different characters and write down books as different person, and it was so real, so actual, that we can separate those characters, but in the end of the day was just characters. And there is another phenomenon called animism. Animism, I think is the word in English.
Yes.
Which is the we give communication as a medium, but we are giving the communication of one person we were in the past. It's a little bit complicated because you incorporate someone that you were in the past and not another spirit. But this is the subject for another study, not today. It's for Medium's book.
Okay, I just want to tell you about the experience that I had from the first time that I came to Europe. Was in the 80s. I was in Germany. I'm not sure if it was in Cologne or Heidelberg. And then we arrived in the hotel late. We went to the bedroom, and it was a house with a lot of steps. We were in in the top. Early in the morning, when I woke up, I opened the windows because I want to see the city, and it was really too close because the hotel was really an old house. And when I opened the windows, I saw a house really close to the hotel. It's door to door. And there is a man like walk in the garden, and then comes me a really strong sensation that I knew that place, and was so strange and strong that I never forget the experience. If I like now, I can describe the house, how was the house and everything. And then for a lot of time, I was thinking, why it happened? I lived there before, or it's a memory. But then, when I read this research about memories that could be in your DNA, and it's not really your memory, but memory for your great-grandparents, it also makes sense because my great-grandparents and my grandparents, they all come from Germany. So then I'm not sure if I really face a situation where I was looking for I saw a place where I lived before, or if it was just something that the science can explain. Because
probably you are your grand parents reincarnated. Yeah, that's possible. In the Bible they say it's gonna your sins is gonna be paid in the third and fourth
generation,
which is the grandchildren and grandchildren. It's just because of reincarnation. They say it's not you're not innocent. You were there. So
it's like it's like the period drama that I was watching.
the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, and the format, the shape of your body, but never
And I'm here again.
ability or reincarnation. Yeah, I'm kidding, but that's right. In the Bible, you can find this
Yeah,
proof
I
of
know.
reincarnation. Say your sins is gonna be charged in the third and fourth
Generation.
which is the grandchildren and grandchildren. It's
And,
us back to the game.
and that is a revelation that Spiritism brought, isn't it? Spiritism has revealed like what the Bible has what has been written in the Bible, but in that in the way they have written it, it doesn't really say doesn't use the word reincarnation, but
Yeah,
that is what it means. It's us coming back again and again in different roles in the same family, because that's what happens. And within Spiritism, there are many books where we can find um, these examples of lives that just go we go back and we change gender, we change places and come back. So I think that is what Spiritism reveals, isn't it? All of these new concepts of how life is, because otherwise we are just going to be believing i- i- just going to have the Old Testament, and we are not going to be we are not going to progress. We are going to be like forever believing that in the notion of heaven and hell,
yeah,
you
that's right.
know. So if we are going to stay in that place, um how are we going to deal with the progress of everything that we, as you have been saying, Andre, all of these new sciences, all these new discoveries, especially the latest one, which is technology. The sciences are evolving so much, and this is all progress. And if we stay in that period, we are not going to um, evolve as to acceptance, isn't it, of what is new. We are just going to be in denial. And because also, I think that one of the things that happens sometimes to many of us is that we know that every time something happens, something new comes through science, a new discovery, what do we need to do? We need to change.
Yeah. As a curiosity, Lindalva, the reincarnation was in the Bible in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So for some reason they removed the
Yeah,
word
yeah, I've heard
paligerency.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So this story is very interesting because Constantine, the emperor, he decided to remove this word from the Bible just because his wife didn't like that.
Mm.
I think
So
he removed a lot of things
oh yeah, for sure.
because it's not he adapted a lot of things
Yeah,
to
yeah, but
satisfy everybody. So
yeah,
there is in the Bible a lot of books that they were just rid of, and a
yeah,
lot of things that were made some adaptation to please
yeah.
everybody, including some religions dated and everything. Yeah, Constantine did
They
that.
they changed the sense of words. Yeah, yeah, and also that comes to us to prove that the truth cannot be buried for forever.
Yeah, yeah.
So they try to hide this information for everybody, but right now the Spiritism came and shows us that that's true. And Jesus one day said, "If everybody shuts up and stop to talk about my gospel, the stones is going to start to talk." So that's what happens when the stones start to talk. the walls and everything starts. So everything that was not animated start to talk. That was a Jesus promise, and the Spiritism came at the same exactly the time when the humanity start to think about the religion, about Jesus and God, because was the time of French Revolution and the Renaissanceism and everything that they came with the science and arts, and everybody start to think that religion was not good. And at that time, the Spiritism came and say, "Hey, let's stop a little bit and think about the things of God and the Jesus and everything He promised before." So yeah, that's it. It's interesting.
Shall I? I think we can read
Yeah.
another bit. What is the role of a teacher with regards to his or her students, if not that of a revealer? The teacher teaches them what they do not know, what they would have neither the time nor the ability to discover by themselves, because knowledge is the collective work of centuries and of a great many individuals, each having contributed his or her share of observations from which those who come afterwards may benefit. Teaching is thus, in reality, the revelation of certain scientific, moral, physical, or metaphysical truths given by the individuals who know about them to others who do not, and who would have contributed to the ignorant of them otherwise.
Yeah, that's the role of the spirits. They came to reveal something we are ignorant about. Actually, we were not ignorant about the spiritual world before the spiritism, because we saw many manifestations before Kardec and before the spiritism.
Mm,
But the after Kardec, we start to think about this as a science, as something structured, something that we can follow in a logical way, not just by mystical way. Before the Spiritism, everybody was esoteric and mystic, and they believe that someone makes some ritual or use talismans or something like that to attract the spirit or for expel it, spirits exorcism and stuff like that. And after the Spiritism, we know that all those things doesn't work, just because the spirit is the human being in the other side of life. I sometimes I wonder how the people used to treat relatives as a bad spirits, because let's pretend I die and I try to communicate with someone, my family's member, and sh- those those people treat me as a demon and try to exorcism. So I would feel really bad. Not me, because after studying the spiritism, I'm really aware that that could happen. But let's pretend someone that never heard about the spirit world and suddenly die and realize that he's not dead, actually dead. He's in the other side of life, and try to talk to mother or the wife or daughter or
So,
someone else, their son or any relatives, and this this person treat him as a demon or something evil. It was really awful, and that's why the spiritism came and open our eyes and say, no, probably is someone you loved before is trying to communicate with you, to bring a message, and sometimes as a message of hope and happiness. It's not always a bad thing to talk to speak with the people other side of life. So yeah, uh,
I
this
think this
revelation came to remove the ignorance of the people. Yeah.
Um, there is the fact also that a lot of people attribute everything they can't see and they can't explain to a sort of supernatural, isn't it? They say this is supernatural, and spiritism also comes and changes that totally and tells us that there is nothing supernatural about it. Everything is very natural because we are and we think, and if we are here, um like all of us living in a physical body right now, and we are thinking beings, human beings, and then we learn that everything that we think is not something that comes from our body, is actually from our spirit. So that means that we can think anyway, whether we are alive physically or alive spiritually. We're going to carry on thinking and existing. And so nothing's going to change about us except that we are not going to be present physically anymore. We are going to change our bodies. And I think to me, this was one of the most incredible revelations I have received, that sort of made so much sense to me, because I could never accept that we sort of just lived our lives, whatever position we occupied and whatever happened to us, and that was it. That because there is no fairness. And then when we see nature and how things happen everywhere, I mean, the seasons of the year, I find that most incredible, because we are not doing anything like to sort of accept now that we know everything is changing, but the seasons still happen in the same sort of way. The trees, they know when it's time to undress, and so that they can dress themselves again with new leaves. I just think that is most amazing. And we are not participating in anything. We don't do anything to sort of change that, or to keep it happening in the same sort of period of every year. And and I think if we truly observe nature, there are a lot of things that happen in nature that tells us, because the trees as well, I love that when you look at them, they have no leaves. The appearances of death. There is no life there. They are all dead because they are uh, totally like naked, as I like to call them. But then all of a sudden, life comes out again, and so it's as if the leaves were reincarnating again, as if they were sort of, oh, this is a new life, it's a new beginning, and spring is the most beautiful new beginning that we all experience. But all the other seasons also are important, because I use the seasons a lot to sort of make a sort of comparison with life. And one of the things that I also was thinking about is spiritism, and why spiritism is reveals so much new things that we didn't know clear like we know now. Because if we truly take our time to study and to understand all the books, everything is so clear, you know. One of the things that amazed me as well is the fact that Chico, when Humberto de Campos, he was writing through Chico, he wrote through Chico, and his family, who is still alive in Brazil at the time, were like, they must be still around, I'm not sure, but at the time they wanted to get the rights from the book that a spirit had written through a living being. I mean, a physical living being. Because why was that? Because they knew that was true. They knew that was their relative who was writing that book. And the most incredible thing, what happened afterwards, is that he didn't sign the books with his name anymore. So, how can we not uh, have certainty that he is participating in all of that process? Because when he started signing with Brother X, he was just saying, I am going to. He wasn't like. Um, he didn't want to put Chico through the experience that Chico had had before with his family. And the other thing is about many spirits who have come during criminal that state in Chico's, I think Chico's film, that have been saved from prison because the supposed dead person has come and said, no, this person um, is not guilty. This is, and I think that all the work that goes behind the scene as well to prove that the signatures were the same and everything. So this is a tremendous revelation for me, for us, that spiritism can explain how this process happens. How is it that we can communicate? And a medium like Chico, for him, it seemed that for him, that was just something that was so easy to communicate with spirit. And so all of these revelations, and I'm thinking that this will increase all the time as we understand about spiritism better, as we also understand mediumship better and accept. So a lot more revelations will come.
Yeah, that's right. You were talking. I was remember the many case, a criminal case that the Chico just got letter from the other side of life, and it's important because there were details that leads to the real criminal, the real murder or something like that, and the police just follow the hint
Yeah,
and discover the murder. So that was scientific proof that those information was real, was it's a fact. And I heard, I'm not sure, but I heard the U.S.
Yeah.
government, they use mediums to
yeah,
discover bodies or something like that. I'm not sure. I never heard about that, but I think Lydia told us
Yes,
about.
there is
yeah,
the FBI, and they use, and there is, I don't remember the name, but I read a book about a guy. I'm sorry that I don't remember, but it is a true story based in, and he discovered a lot of things and did a lot of things. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So this is the most, the most important proof that the government, the sciences come together with spiritism and make the life easier. But anyway, we don't uh, we don't, let's, how can I say that, we we don't mastering the science yet, because we don't know how to get this communication straightforward. We
Yeah.
need to wait for the spirits to come, but one day we're gonna be able to just talk to the spirits just like we are talking together right now, and get the information we need. And yeah, yeah, call for some reason, use the mobile or something like that. And yeah, this is really interesting, because I was wondering right now why those information became uh, you know, covered for a long time, and many things came to my mind, and uh, I was thinking about all the religions. If they admit that the spiritism or the spiritual world is true, they need to give up a lot of things, even the money and the power, because everything they say is not true. And that's why they try to keep everything covered all the time, and keep the people away from the spiritism and the truth of the spiritual world. So let's pretend the church start to speak or start to communicate with the spiritual world, and they say, what you're doing is not, is worthless. You're doing everything in the other way. That's not the way Jesus used to do. You're accumulating money and treasure in the earth, and this is not the objective and the aim of the religion. So they need to stop to, you know, collect money and deliver power or something like that. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't want to judge, but it would be a shutdown of many religions. That's why they keep everything as a secret.
It's a bit like in America they use the mediums, and it's well known over there. But over here they use faith healing, but they're not allowed to say it's faith healing. It's just a different form of.
Yeah.
I think what I have been sort of um, thinking a lot about lately is to do, Andre, with our own, because the churches exist like everything else, because there are people there who are um, who are still in
Yeah.
tune with that,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
with what goes on in all sorts of what they call Christian denominations, isn't it? Because like everything else, I think it's there because there are people who needs that. We are the ones who create what is out there. Because if we were all a lot more evolved, and we thought, and we were reasoning better about everything, we would say this doesn't make sense, and we are going to look for something else. But I also think that we to arrive where we are arriving now, we have gone through many phases, isn't it? And especially to do with with Christianity, with God. People use God to do all sorts of things, and that also sort of creates insecurity in a lot of people. And one of the things that I have been really enjoying watching lately is there is a pastor in Brazil. He's a politician. I don't know his name right now, but I absolutely adore him. He's a guy that, because there are so many religious people in politicians in politics in Brazil, and he is one of the pastors who speaks, who tells those who are trying to deceive Christianity, to take Christianity to a place of deceiveness, deceit. And he comes and he say straight away, this is not the Jesus I serve. And then he tells, and then he talks about what the Jesus he serves wants from us. And he's and he talks about Martin Luther King, that he learned a lot with Martin Luther King. And then he speaks about so many people who came and sort of taught us to free ourselves from the dogmas, from all of these uh, things that people use to grab power um, and then go and slave others, because it's a type of slavery, isn't it? Only that we don't realize. And so, in many ways. And so, I think, or I was also thinking about the fact that one of the biggest things that Spiritism revealed is our immortality. And how do we deal with immortality, with knowing that we are immortals? How many centuries do we need to reincarnate to sort of actually understand that actually I need to I need to follow the narrow door because the wide one, like, it is true, it only leads me to perdition. And I am not, I'm not gonna be in hell, I'm not gonna stay in hell. The work to be done is to find light. So how long does it take us to arrive at that point? So I think a lot goes on. As you said, we make we imagine a lot of things as spirits. We have a very huge imagination, and we can, and it's very easy to follow that what we are imagining to be the truth,
Yeah,
because we're not ready to deal with the truth yet, the real truth.
yeah. You make me remember a questions that I don't know who made these questions to the spirits, but the question was why the all this revelation didn't come before and destroy the conventional church. And the answer was the conventional church is just like a tree, a massive tree, a huge tree, which cover the humanity to allow small trees to grow around this big tree. And if you cut suddenly this big tree, most of the small tree around is going to die as well. So this is the allegory that the spirits explain why the church is still there, because they protect numbers of people that still believe in that, and
Mhm.
doesn't those people, they don't go to the evil side just because they are afraid of something, and they
Mhm.
keep in the right way, doing right things. So yeah, there are the evil side, and there are the good side also of this big and massive religion structure that is keeping people, which is those people are not ready to understand the truth, so they keep those people in the right way before the revelation comes. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good explanation, and I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's time to the book.
Time to move on.
Martha?
Okay, Martha. So your turn to choose which one. I've got the same thought and life, the pathway to truth and life, our daily bread.
Daily bread.
Daily bread. It's always daily bread.
Daily bread is the most.
So it's questions 66, goodwill.
Goodwill.
Be very careful then how you live. For Ephesians 5:15. Goodwill discovers work. Work creates the renovation. Renovation finds goodness. Goodness reveals the spirit of service. The spirit of service reaches understanding. Understanding achieves humility. Humility conquers love. Love generates renunciation. Renunciation reaches the light. The light realizes self evolvement. Self evolvement sanctifies the individual. A sanctified individual converts the world toward God by walking prudently for simple goodwill. The individual will reach God, will reach the divine kingdom of the light. These are the phases we need to go through, isn't it?
Yeah. So the goodwill is going to generate a lot of things in cascade.
Yes. This, yeah. Well, I'll pass it on if you want to make any comment, Andre, Arthur, and Lily.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah, just to remember that the everything is connected in some way. As a if we start in a goodwill, which is not an oath, yeah, goodwill is not an oath. We need
Mm,
actions. But
mm,
the first thing to do is treat the thought as a great power. So every time we think, we create images, we create a world in our mind, we start to create a real world. Yeah, most of the time, there are a lot of people in the internet saying you can create everything you want: wealth, health, and even power, generating from the mind. That's true, but we need to understand that everything is must be allowed. So we're not allowed to do everything we want. I cannot just imagine that today I'm gonna do a big crime or doing something really good if I'm not allowed to do. So those things come with if we deserve or not. We need to deserve to get what we want, and but we can start to think about and imagine, and with the goodwill. So once we get the good faith, goodwill, everything's gonna start from there, and one day we can realize and we can, let's say, turn real what we think, what we imagine, or what we should. So yeah, that's a great lesson because actually,
materialize it, isn't it?
yeah, actually, our life is it's inside our mind.
Mhm.
The real life is inside our mind. It doesn't matter if you are in a good place. If your mind is not good, you're gonna feel like hell.
Yeah.
And the other side is the same. If you sometimes you are in a bad material situation, but you feel so good that you feel like paradise. So we need to bear in mind that everything, our worlds create inside our mind. And if you have a good mind, a good thoughts, and we direct our thoughts to a good way, so everything is going to start to be better than today, for example.
Yeah, I think here it's as exactly the message tells us. There is always something else to discover, isn't it? One thing will always bring another, and that is always how it is, and this is what I think we need to put it into practice, isn't it? The good things, and obviously we will have we as considering that we are still living part of a world of trials, of tribulations, of tests. We are not perfect spirits, and we will have many thoughts during our lifetime, and we will sort of make many decisions that are not right. But we also need to understand that when we make a wrong decision, we can counterbalance that with a right one. And this is what and the scale is not going to be like that. It's going to be like that. And so once we have the goodwill, and of course, if we put these into practice, we are going to change. We are going to start renew ourselves, isn't it? We are going to put things into practice. We will bring um, something new. We are going to um, whether it is just for ourselves or for our family or for our community, and so and that will bring so many more things, isn't it? But it always starts with that goodwill, isn't it? And so the rest is just work,
Work, yeah. Action,
action.
yeah.
Yes. Good.
Okay, on that note, we finished today.
Not yet, Andrea, not
Not
yet.
yet.
We still have to pray.
Yeah, we need to pray.
Okay, so let's once again connect with our Master Jesus, our brother, who has brought all of these concepts, the concept of a father that belongs to all of us, a father that loves all of its creation, that creates everything for the right purposes. But we, as imperfect spirits, always find ways of using what God has created for the wrong purposes. Even our own intelligences, many times. Many of us use it to cause pain, suffering, to create machines to end life, rather than to bring renovation, help for people, for those who are suffering. Many of us are still today using the land, to plant drugs that destroy life, rather than planting seeds that will feed the hungry. Lord, you have invited us to work in your vineyard, the vineyard that only goodness exists, that only good seeds are sown, because you also taught us about the harvest of the seeds that we all sow. And those of us who are still today only sowing bad seeds will harvest pain in the future. So help us, Lord, to realize that we are the creators of our own pain, for no one else will harvest the fruit of our bad sowing, of our bad plantation. We ourselves will have to do it. So we ask you to guide us, Lord, us as humanity, who is still today are creating separation from one another, are not trying hard enough to live as brothers and sisters, to hold the hand of the one who has fallen. But many times we still throwing stones at those who are down, when you have invited us to look after them, to look after one another, because today we may find ourselves in a healthy place, but we don't know about our future, what the future holds for us. And here, I'm not just considering the future tomorrow, but our future lives, as we are learning about the many lives we have to undergo, so that we find the light and we learn to spread it around us. And we thank you, Lord, for all the experiences you have brought us, the good ones, the difficult ones, because it is in the difficult experiences that we learn how to find a strength within ourselves that we didn't know about before. It's by the difficult experiences that we understand that everything passes, and life always brings us rest, for a period of time at least, as we are not perfect spirit yet. We thank you, Lord, for today. We thank you for not giving up on us, for bringing all these opportunities so that we learn how to keep on working, how to keep on putting into practice what we study as well. Otherwise, we'll be receiving light, but we will be putting it under the table. And this light is not going to illuminate ourselves or anyone else. And so we ask you, Lord, to bless us today by blessing our homes, protecting us from all those thoughts that are not good for us, by inspiring us to replace it with better ones. We ask you, Lord, to bless our family, our friends, all of those who are going through difficulties today, who are feeling lost, hopeless, who lost have their faith, that you may, Lord, envelop them in your light, peace, and tranquility, showing that there is always a new door that opens before us. We just need to be resilient and to seek, because there will always be someone, when the time is right, who will hold our hand and will guide us through this new door that will appear before us. And we thank you so much, Lord, for allowing us to understand this, that life has a purpose, and the purpose is always good. We just have to persist in working towards finding a better self within ourselves every single day, so that our bad tendencies will be transformed into good ones. We thank all of our spiritual friends who have come to participate in this meeting with us, inspire us, and to help us today, Lord. And we know that we are all under your guidance and your guardianship. And may this continue with us through the night, taking us into good place in the spiritual world when our bodies are resting, so that we can carry on learning about ourselves and learning how to help not just ourselves but also others. So be it. Amen.